If you design the way I'm going to teach you to today for your print-on-demand products, you will be designing the way that I do and every other six-figure Etsy seller does. So what do we know that maybe you don't know just yet? Today, we're going to jump into exactly what it would look like while I'm designing. And I'm going to reveal an incredibly trendy format and aesthetic or style of designing that you absolutely cannot afford to ignore. If you want to make money, that is, and I'm assuming you're watching this video because you're trying to make money. And listen, it wasn't long ago that I was waking up at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, and instead of rolling over and blissfully falling back to sleep, I was grabbing my phone, anxiously hoping that I had gotten a sale since I had fallen asleep. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like you? Well, I don't do that anymore. So what is the difference? What helped me scale my shop to very regular sales where it's no longer even a thought or a concern? I just know that if I keep adding the types of designs we're going to talk about today, then I'm definitely going to keep making sales. Today we are going to be working in the nurse niche, but what we're going to talk about and the specific aesthetic that I'm going to be highlighting, you could and should look to apply this in any niche that you're working in that has females wanting to purchase. The first concept that you need to internalize and understand, if you want this to be the last design video that you ever have to watch, is that we do not want to recreate anyone else's design. We don't want to make minor changes to it or just do our own version of it. We want to innovate on it. We want to do something that's really going to stand out. So for example, today we're going to take what we understand about this bestseller here. It is a nurse shirt. It says Nurse Sarah, and it is a bestseller. It's personalized. So we're going to take the concept here of personalized shirts with the nurse's name on it, and we're going to be doing up our own designs like that. We might borrow something from this design, like the word nurse, like the color scheme, like maybe we love the mock-up, and maybe we've seen other shirts selling on this mock-up. So perhaps we go find ourselves this specific mock-up. But our design is going to look nothing like this. The only inspiration we're really going to be getting from the nurse niche is the fact that we have this design here that says the word nurse, and it has the nurse's name on it. In order to innovate on this design, I'm really not looking to do another design that says nurse real big with the name of the nurse through it. Not that that's not a format or a layout that wouldn't be worthy of a stab, but I'm really looking to make faster sales than what that's going to bring me. And so I've learned over the last 4 years, which I opened my Etsy shop about 4 years ago. I was a 4th grade teacher and I got to quit my job a year and a half into my Etsy shop. And I now make triple and quadruple what my annual teaching salary was. Yes, if your jaw's on the floor, pick it back up. I know, it's so awesome. And if I can do it, you can do it too, because I had absolutely no prior experience in this. And you'll be ready to go do it right after this video. So now that we understand that we're gonna go create personalized or custom name nurse shirts, we need to go search on Etsy some other niches to get inspiration from so that we can find layouts and aesthetics that are interesting and that are selling really well, and then bring it over to the nurse niche so that we can stand out over here in the nurse niche. Some super smart bestseller searches that you could do would be any niche that women are in a lot, like the mom niche, or the bachelorette niche, or maybe the teacher niche, or maybe another profession that you're thinking about. Because these are going to be similar types of customers to our nurses that we're trying to sell this shirt to. You could even look at just women's shirts and those bestsellers and just start collecting ideas. we're going to head over to the bachelorette niche because that's actually where I found the aesthetic that we're going to be working with today. And that I really do hope that you'll get done with this video and just simply go take action. And then I want you to come back like in 8 weeks to this video and let me know, hey, Shauna, I took action. I did that thing that you said we should go and do, that aesthetic we should apply. I applied it like 50 times, 50 different designs in my shop, and now I'm making sales. I would love for you to come back and let me know that you did that and that you're making sales 8 weeks from now. So let's head over to the bachelorette niche, and I'm going to just do this search and you can take a look at it with me. And of course, you're going to see a lot of results come up with this social club look, which, by the way, is another great aesthetic that you can use. But the one that we're going to go with is a little bit newer and has really just started to pop off in the last few months. And we're going to call it the doodle look. You might also call it the hand-drawn look when you're looking for images or graphics to help you accomplish this look. A lot of times I will see in the SEO or that's our title in our tags. I'll see in the title and tags of graphics that it says things like hand-drawn. It also says whimsical or doodle graphics. So we're specifically going to work with this design here that's kind of in a circular pattern. It says bride or bridesmaid in the middle in our example, and then it has all of these cool little doodles kind of circling around it. So we're going to do our own version of this. This is where we're going to get a lot of our inspiration from, and we're going to bring this over to the nurse niche. Now, when I design, I like to do what I call batches of designs. And that just means I would sit down and I would make 10 to 15 custom nurse shirts with the person's name on them right in one session. It would take me probably 2 or 3 days to get them all done, but that would be my session of designing before I move on to something else. And I always do these kind of clusters or batches of designs rather than like, ooh, I'm going to make a nurse shirt, and ooh, now I'm going to go make a teacher shirt, and ooh, now I'm going to go make a mom shirt. That's not how I design. I like to come up with my SEO, my block of SEO, and then I make 10 to 15 designs that go with that SEO or that title and that tags. So today I'll show you 3 designs that I would create to go with my batch of custom nurse shirts. We're going to use Kittl, so let's jump on and get designing. We're popping into Kittl over here. In the right hand corner, I'm going to hit new project, and now I'm going to go over to print on demand over at the right. And this makes it super simple. I can actually go in and select Printify, my print company, and it's going to automatically get me with an artboard that has a DPI of 300 and has the right size and height. Now I'm going to go over to the top left in the search bar, and I'm going to put nurse clip art, and we're just going to kind of look through. I just made the board transparent. There we go. And now we're going to kind of just go through and take a look at some clip art we want to use. I'm going to grab this. I'm not going to worry too much about the color in there. Now for this doodle type of design, I'm going to have to take all of that color out, and I need kind of an outline, a black outline. This is super easy. I have the artwork selected, and then over here I have illustration colors. And notice when I hit the little eyeball, the color comes on and off. So I'm just going to turn the color off. I made the transparent background to make it more obvious. Now notice when I hit the red, this is a problem. There's no outline around that cross, and I need the cross. So instead of deleting the red, I am just going to select a different color for the red and make it black. So now I get to keep the cross and I get the whole image there. All right, so we're going to grab this stethoscope. Again, we want this doodle outline. I have it selected and I have my illustration colors. I'm going to go through and turn colors off, and it's looking pretty good with me turning the colors off here. Sometimes we have to change the color like we did for the red. Here I see this little pink here. I would like to get that out. This actually had more colors in it than I thought. And we can zoom in a little bit to make sure we're not missing anything. I'm missing something. So I'm going to go through, okay, all these little eyeballs need to be off. And then just the black one. Yeah, there we go. Now I only have the black outline. So now I've got my little nurse clip art, and I've got my stethoscope. I've already taken care of this heart-shaped stethoscope for us, and now we're going to pull this kind of retro vibes nurse over. I think she's pretty fun. You want to make sure the image that you're working with is selected, and you know that by that blue rectangle that's outlining that nurse there. And then that's when you'll see your illustration colors menu pop up. So again, I just went ahead and turned all of the eyeballs off except on the black. So I'm going to go through just like this, and I'm going to collect a couple of images for us. I'll kind of speed this up a bit so we can work through it really fast, but I'm going to just go through and pick a couple of fun images in the same fashion that I've been doing. I make sure it's selected. I know that from the blue rectangle around it, and then my illustration colors will be visible over to the right hand side. I'll be able to go over to that little eyeball, simply turn them off, and have an outline. Let's take a second. I'd like to, these designs go really well with a bit of a coquette vibe to them, so like bows and ribbons. So let's take a look at some bows and ribbons and see if we can't find something kind of line arty, hand-drawn looking, or something we could turn into a hand-drawn look. I'm not really seeing anything I can do this with just yet here. Let's try searching bow ribbon and see if we can't get something that's more like what we want. If I use a lot of these bows, if I start turning these colors off, I feel like we're just going to lose the whole, oh, this works. Let's pull this over and take a look. And let's just see if we've got another one. Here's another one. Okay, we've got two choices now with our bows and our ribbons. I think I'm pretty happy with those choices. This one would be good too, but I think I like the ones we selected better. I have this one fast forward while I do the fun part here. I've got my inspiration over to the side. I'm using that top one for the layout and the bottom one for like the color scheme. And now I'm just gonna kind of shrink all of my little graphics, and I'm going to get them set up in a similar way as the one we see over to the top right. Okay, so as I'm sitting here editing this, I just don't want you to be confused. I know that in the beginning of the video, I was showing an example of a bachelorette doodle type of drawing, and then I just realized when I actually filmed the part of this video where I'm putting the design together, I wound up using the layout of One Lucky Mama because I was doing searches, like I mentioned earlier. I did numerous searches. I did a mama search. I did a bachelorette search. And so you can see that these doodle types of drawings are prevalent in numerous female niches. So don't be thrown off by the change in example. This is also a great listing to be looking at for our layout with our doodle look here. I just want to see what the most popular women's names were in the 1990s. I feel like that would be a good age group to be targeting for my nurse ones here. So I saw Emily as one of the popular names, so I'll use that on my shirt. I figure it will resonate with more people. The more market research-based decisions you can make, the better. I'm using Beth Ellen. That's the font that I'm using here. And so it will say nurse, kind of like that example there on the green shirt over to the right says Nurse Sarah. We're going to write Nurse Emily, except we're going to do it in this doodly font, which the Beth Ellen font in Kittle does pull that off. And now I'm just going to kind of get all of my graphics to kind of look cute, kind of around. I think our little retro nurse might go best in the middle down here. We've got our little bows. We've got all of our little items that are affiliated with a nurse. And this is kind of the fun part, just kind of arranging it. There's a couple of different layouts that are really popular with this doodle look. We're going with this one here that says Lucky Mama, where you kind of have the words in the middle, the text in the middle, and then you've got all of the little elements around it. A 4-point retro star is a really nice addition to a design. If you haven't played with this design element, I definitely suggest playing with it. So I'm looking in Kittle now to see if I see one I like. These are an element that are very popular across the board with many niches. And I have noticed this element doing very well with the doodle look, with these doodly types of designs. So this one almost is right, but it looks kind of digital. So I've gone over to Creative Fabrica and pulled my own in here. You see I've already duplicated it, and now I'm kind of just spreading them around, and I have some that are a little bit smaller and some that are a little bit larger, and I'm just kind of filling in whatever space I feel is a little bit empty. And when in doubt, you ever sit there and start your design and then you're looking at it and like, in this case, I'm thinking, do I have too many stars? Well, in and doubt, go look at bestsellers. In the bachelorette shirt niche, there are a lot of these. So we're going to go over there and look real quick. And now that I've got my best-selling bachelorette shirts up, I'm just going to look at some of the bestsellers and see how the stars are mixed into these designs. I'm just kind of looking to see their use, right? Like, I don't want to overuse them. So if you're feeling unsure, like I am right now with my design, this is literally what I do anytime I'm designing. I just keep referring back to bestsellers. I feel like these are maybe a little smaller. Well, they're big and small. I do feel like they're using a few less than me. I feel like a lot of them that I'm seeing here, maybe using a few less than me. So we'll go back and we'll fix that up real quick on ours. And I'll just delete a couple of these. So the second design in my batch, I'm actually going to cheat just a little bit because I'm going to leave the same exact format here, the same exact layout. But I think it's going to look very different when I'm done because I'm going to make this really colorful. And I'm going to get my color scheme from this color scheme that's used on this green shirt down below. And then I'll list this on that same Comfort Colors green because it's really popular. And this color scheme is very popular on that Comfort Colors green. I've noticed it across many bestsellers. So now what I'm going to do is just take the graphics and I'm going to go through and color each of them to go with one of the colors from the word nurse here. This is super simple to do. Notice that I'm selecting the graphic, and I know that it's selected because of the blue rectangle that winds up boxing it. Then I get my color options over to the right. I'm able to select that, and instead of turning the eyeball off like we were doing earlier, and this time I'm just going and selecting that little dropper tool so that I can change the color instead. And then I'm using my little dropper tool. I'm just zooming in on our color palette there of the word nurse from that example, and I'm just selecting one of the colors from that word with my little color tool. In order just to get an idea of what this is going to look like, I've gone over into layers, which is that last icon on the left at the very bottom. And I'm going to find my background for this artboard. And if I turn the little eyeball off, you'll see it goes transparent. But now that I've got that selected, I can also change the color. And I'm going to change it to the color of this green shirt, or at least close to it. I'm just going to use the medicine dropper on the mock-up. This way I can kind of see what things are looking like. We see that I'm completely losing my orange nurse. So I'm going to have to think about how to use the colors in a way that we're still going to be able to see them on this mock-up. So I could take my nurse and test out other colors. So I would go down, of course, to this one here, which is the only eyeball that's on. And we could play with maybe the yellow, which it is more visible with yellow, so that could be a fix. But let's pretend you really wanted to stick with the orange. I'm going to show you how you might be able to do that. So we would need the lines to be thicker. We could play with borders or shadows. Either one is probably going to get us there. We're going to go to borders here. First, let's change the color of the shadow and make it orange. But notice something weird happened with this, and I'm really not certain why, that I'm getting this weird line, because when the shadow's not there, it wasn't there. So if I make the shadow disappear, it wasn't there. So I can play with the, I'm sorry, not shadow, we're in border. So I can play with the thickness of this border like this, and this is how I can kind of adjust any of the designs or graphics that we have here. If I feel like one of them's too thick and one of them's too thin, I can go through and I can fix that. So I think this looks pretty good, and I think we can see the orange really nicely like this. The problem is we have this weird thing happening. So in order to fix that, I'm going to go to this eraser tool. This is awesome. I love this little eraser tool. It's telling me that I can't do this unless I rasterize the image, which is just fine. It is going to rasterize it for me. And as soon as it's done doing that, I get this little eraser tool. And I can make the eraser tool bigger or smaller. I'm going to leave it kind of small. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to pinch my, all my fingers on the trackpad, just spreading them apart so I can kind of zoom in here. And I am erasing this weird line. And it just has to be good enough so don't get too, don't feel too stressed out about that. This line here is kind of weird. I'm not sure, it doesn't go with the flow of her hair, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. Probably no one would even notice it. And if I wasn't doing a video right now, I honestly would not even worry about this piece, but I know some of you are worried about it, so I'll go in and just show you how you could zoom in more and you could get it. I'm not going to worry about this. It just has to be good enough. No one's going to notice that. So now you can see that really well. And I'm just going to exit eraser mode right here. Boom. And there we have it. We have our nurse, and she's a lot easier to see now. So I don't usually use the same layout and just add color as another design in my batch of designs. But if I am doing 10 to 15 designs and I just know that this is such a worthy stab because of the doodly look, and I'm not seeing that doodly look saturating the nurse niche just yet. So a lot of sales can be made using this look. And then with the very targeted decisions because of the color and the mock-up, and I know I've seen this color scheme and this mock-up doing really well across numerous female niches. I just know that from going in and searching regularly. And honestly, if you feel like, oh, I wouldn't notice that, yes, you would. I just do it all the time. And so you won't notice things when you go to search bestsellers the first month. But by the second month, third month, you're doing this like every day or every other day and doing these searches, you'll start to notice. Now, we're going to jump in and we're going to do our third design. And we're still going to keep the doodle look, but I'm going to go find another bestseller. And we're going to use a different example of another bestseller that's laid out differently. Again, I'm not going to find my layout from the nurse niche because I want to look different in the nurse niche. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is if I go into other niches and I look for things that are trending in other niches and I use those layouts and those aesthetics over in the nurse niche. The other option, if you want to stand out, is to just make it up right from the top of your head. So maybe you can make up something really different, but then it's not based on research and you're very likely to make something that people don't actually want to buy. And so the more decisions, like I'm showing you here, the more decisions that you are making based on innovating on things that you're seeing in the market already, the better your chances are of being a very successful Etsy seller. And hey guys, by the way, if you're really enjoying this video, then you might be the type of person that would really get a lot out of my Learn and Earn Academy. I'll leave it linked down below. Every month we do an incredible trend report. We've been talking about the doodle designs for a while. The trend report is packed with ideas and trends just like this that you can go implement into your designs. And then we've got lots of other things. We've got lives just about every other week. We do focus and flourish sessions where we jump in with one of the members and we add value kind of like this, but instead of just my ideas, the entire community is sharing ideas, and they're amazingly, powerfully packed with incredible creative juices there. You'll leave those feeling super excited. So I will leave that link down below if you are liking this video. And maybe the membership isn't for you at this time, then I've got lots of videos just like this on the channel. I'll leave the playlist to those down below in the description. And if you want me to keep doing videos like this in this series, then just let me know by tapping that like button. That way I know that the people that are actually subscribed to my channel are liking this, and I want to put content out that you find valuable and that helps you and that you enjoy watching and that you like. And if you're not a subscriber yet, then take that opportunity to make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos like this one coming up. Okay, let's go back and make our third design. Now let's move on to our third design in our batch. And I kind of just scooted everything over to the side so that I could work with this artboard here. You could just copy your artboard so you have it twice. And I pulled everything to the side so I could just kind of arrange everything differently. I am still going to do a doodle design, but do you see the design I put over to the right? It says the Batch Club, and we've got the girl in the little wine glass, and it's like Bachelorette Club on the bottom. Well, we're going to kind of do our version of that with our nurse. So I've still got my font, but I'm going to kind of have it going across the top at a slant like they had it over in our example bestseller over there. I've repositioned our nurse so that she's a bit bigger. She's the main element here instead of a whole bunch of doodles, since we're going for this new kind of look. I am going to put a couple of our 4-point stars scattered around. I've got our little heartbeat here. I may move it. I kind of feel like it would look good if there was a little something coming out on each side. So the one we're looking at is the cowgirl in the wine glass, and she's got an arm reaching from one side of the shirt to the tip of her boot all the way to the other side of the shirt, and I feel like that really helped create balance and fill up the space nicely. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. I'm looking for an element to kind of just bring across. So we'll play with it just a bit and see if we like it. And if not, we can always lose it and just have our nurse here. I'm thinking maybe I like this. It looks even. I can select everything and kind of move it up on the artboard. And now I'm just going to bring a couple other elements and see how they look, maybe kind of scattered kind of around. I know we don't really have that in our example over to the right, but just from looking at these doodly types of designs, I do see a lot of layouts like that. We've got some fun things. We do have the established year on a lot of these types of designs. So I am going to do the established year here. I'm doing it in the same Beth Ellen font. I'm going to put established on one side of our nurse and 2025 on the other side. I think this will make a really great graduation gift the year that nurse graduates. We do need something across the bottom of the design. Most of these designs have like something like social club written down there, which we could totally do with our design. Another idea, if you're looking for a way to niche down even more so than just the name, we could go look at nurse gifts. That's what I put nurse graduation gift in the search bar, and we can look for types of nurses that said labor and delivery. So we can actually come down and finish our design off with a type of nurse, or we could save something like this for a different batch of designs we're doing with, a specific nurse in mind, and this could be one of those designs that we do. But just to give you an idea for the different kinds of things you could put down here, or we could even put labor and delivery at the top, and we could put nursing club or nurse club at the bottom. But here we go. We have our next design. I think it's super duper cute and really goes with that doodle look that's so trendy right now. And just for fun, let's jump over to Printify and see what it looks like on a t-shirt. So I'm in their catalog. I clicked on t-shirts and I'm going to do Comfort Colors 1717. This has been a super popular shirt, and for professions, it's really a good option. For teacher shirts, nurse shirts like the one we're doing. With Printify Premium, you're going to get your shirt as low as $10.67. It's going to be around $15, if I remember off the top of my head, if you do not have Printify Premium. So even if you're just selling a couple shirts a month, and then of course you have to pay shipping after that, $3.99 for most shipping options for us. So if you don't have Printify Premium yet and you want to check it out, feel free to check out the link down in the description, or you can just Google them. If you use my link, I get a little something for that. But if you prefer to just Google them, just do that. You can check them out. And I'm going to go through and just show you some of the really popular colors that I see a lot of bestsellers having options. The pepper, this is the pepper. I'm looking for the light green and also a super similar color to the light green, the sea foam. These specifically have been some really popular colors in the nurse niche and other profession niches, also other niches as well. And what I like about this, especially if you're new, you could go in and kind of see how the design is sitting. I can go through and filter through the colors. I'm on seafoam right now, and if I click the little magnifying glass, I can get closer and really see how the design sits on the shirt. I like to move my designs up toward the top of the printing space, and I like to pretty much blow it up and use the entire printing space. And so this is how that looks, and I never get complaints. If you think this doodle aesthetic is fun, go down into the comments and say, let's doodle it up and make some money. And if you feel like it would be valuable for you to continue with this type of learning session on how to add value to the market, then let's head over to this video here where I show you how to add value to the teacher market, which, by the way, is going to make us tons of money this spring and this summer. But don't head over there until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.